Hello, this is Malorian, and this is going to be another battle report, and one again of the Bretonnian campaign. This is the second game. Now, going into this, I had the benefit of knowing that both Once Bitten and Anthony have seen their games. Anthony didn't get any more. Once Bitten got one. So at this point, we're each at three. So as long as I get at least one, I'm pulling in the lead. So that's awesome. Now, one of the things that's also going to be with this is because when Once Bitten did his first one and he kind of messed up with some math and stuff, he failed to get the vow of empathy, the one you have to have a whole bunch of peasants. So he challenged us to do the same thing. Anthony tried, did not go so well, but I'm going to try it as well. Now, one of the things that was tough is that I didn't bring my books, I didn't have my list made before, I had to drive down from Fort Mac, and so literally when I was turning the corner to get home, I had my opponent saying like, hey, I'm on my way, I'm going to be right there. So, oh my god, I had to hurry, run in, clean up, set up the board, make a list, quickly try and get all my stuff together, and so it's probably not the best thought out list, and that became very evident. So obviously I'm going for the virtue of empathy. So that's the one where you got to take a bunch of peasants. I got to win at least one combat, and that shouldn't be actually too bad. Now I thought, if I don't need to win, and I'm just going to try and win one combat over the whole game, let's go for another one where I can just do nothing and try and get as well. So the one I went for is the virtue of duty. Because for a virtue of duty, it's easy, right? You have to be in the same unit as the general. General doesn't die, you're good to go. So there's another one. I thought I was going to be able to do a third one too, but when I got here and quickly started throwing my stuff together, I had 2 units of 100 halberdiers, well, men-at-arms, a big old unit of like 98 archers, then I have 2 trebs, I have my bunker of 30 more men-at-arms. Then I'm going to be having my little small unit of 5 knights I have to take, banners wherever I can there except for the bunker. And then I was going to take my level 4, which I thought was going to take light until I was waking up that I can only take heavens with a scroll. Then I have the guy with empathy, which is just going to be there and be the general, and that's all he has. And then I was going to have my BSB that's going to have the duty and to be there with him. So that all looked all great. It didn't have any room for a third paladin, but whatever, this should be good. Again, I just need to get one pull in the lead. But then I remember, like, oh my god, I have to be on a horse. If I don't have the virtue of empathy, I have to be mounted. So all of a sudden I had to pull some more points, take a few more archers out. Now I'm on a horse, and this is bad news because I have to be in the same unit as my general, but I am on a horse, so I'm not going to get a lookout, sir. So I do have the charm shield on there as well, and that's going to help me, but it turned out I'm up against Empire. And what he's going to be running is, well, 3 cannons, because he has 2 cannons and a steam tank, so this is going to be challenging. And then what he also has is a big, huge unit of the spearmen. There's going to be a warrior priest in there, a detachment of halberdiers. He's going to be running a level 4 of fire in there, also with the scroll. Then he's going to be running some knights, actually the great weapon ones, warrior priest in there. And then he has some interesting stuff where he has, of course, like the Pegasus captain going around, but he also has a general on a griffin. So I think that part was more for fun. He was talking about how he just got the model and he wanted to use it. But that's actually, even though that's normally a bad choice, against me, I was freaking scared because these things can get over my lines, get to my bunker, and I'm just toast. Because I'm hoping just to do these small things and survive. But if my paladins die, I don't get it. He also has some pistoliers. But yeah, it was going to be interesting, and I hope for at least one, but let's see what happens. Alright, so here's a picture of my characters, and I mean, one of the things that's going to be crazy about this game is that everything is going to be proxies. This is the one game I actually want to get out of the way because my Bretonnians, I mean, they're unpainted, I'm not happy about that, but I don't want to be doing proxies either. And since I don't own hardly any peasants at all, I'm obviously going to have to do it for this game. So I'm just going to proxy everything just because, hey, if I'm going to do it, let's make it so it's an orc and goblin. This is my Gobtonia. I don't know if you guys have seen that army made by another guy, but anyway, this will be my version of it. So what we're looking at here is I have my BSB, the mounted BSB. He'll be the guy on the left. He's the one with the virtue of duty. I have my level 4 prophetess, and then on the far right, there's my general, who's just the virtue of empathy, and that's all he's got. So he's my little cheerleader guy. And yeah, I mean, I really think I'll be able to get at least one of them. But the main thing is, I mean, if he cannon snipes out my mounted guy here, boom, there goes that one. If he gets to my bunker, I'm sure my general will die. So that's definitely a real worry with these weak characters. Oh man, this picture was garbage. But anyway, over here he has his pistoliers, his big unit of knights, and cannon in the back. And there's also the BSB in that unit as well. So the knights are going to be tough, but hey, I'll be able probably to whittle them down. Over here in the center, here's a better picture of it. But yeah, here's all of his troops. He's still in the process of painting these guys, getting them ready for a tournament coming up here. But you can kind of see it from the griffin in the back that he's also building them to make it so like their big enemy is orcs. So that's actually kind of a neat thing because, hey, I'm running them and all that stuff. I mean, orcs is my favorite army. So that's why the griffin is like clawing 2 orcs and he's standing on a boar. So pretty cool conversion. And yeah, I'm pretty damn scared of that monster getting to my bunker. Otherwise, here's his captain on a Pegasus, way on the right flank. And then looking at my side, here's the Horde. I mean, it was neat seeing Anthony and Once Bitten do their thing. It's like, oh, normal blocks of 40 or 50, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, no, we're doing this Malorian style. We're doing this blocks of 100. So the main idea here is, of course, I mean, halberdiers, the men-at-arms here, I mean, when you have that many strength 4 attacks, it's actually pretty solid. And if I get my spell off, so I'm re-rolling ones, that'll be great as well. So they should do all right. Longbows on the archers will do fairly well as well. And again, all I need these guys to do is go up, win one combat, and then just like stall and grind so I can survive out the game. You can see the knights are in the back as well, and that's because I want to actually have a lookout sir for my mounted guy as well. So he has a charm shield, he has at least one lookout sir until one of the guys die, but yeah, it's pretty risky. And overall, the board looks like this. Going on with the campaign, with my understanding, every game is going to be a pitched battle. We got some terrain here. So we got a mysterious river going down here, a couple of walls on the left side. Then, you know how I hate sorceress portals? Well, there's 2 of them right by the bridge there. So that's going to be slinging out magic and crazy stuff. Then the building to the right that you can barely see is the one where it gives things hatred. But, you know, since I'm putting everything on the left side here, that won't really matter. And really, the way I see this coming down is that the steam tank will probably be a problem. So I'm hoping just the hold on the right side. The left side is where I'm actually hoping to win a combat. And then with some shooting and stuff from the center, hey, maybe I can actually beat a unit there with my archers as well. The trebuchets, I don't know how long they're going to last, but as long as I can like mess up the steam tank and maybe do something to the griffin or a big block, but either way, yeah, I do not expect them to be lasting long. And here's just like a little close-up of what it looks like here for my characters. I mainly had to do everything as a long line for my bunker to actually make it fit, but the 2 paladins will be on the far right here. The mage is on the far left in case it explodes, and again, setting it up here so I can have a lookout, sir, until at least one guy dies. So here's something I want to show from his first magic phase. He gets 5 dice, which is low already. Tries to cast the first one on 3 dice, rolls triple 1s. Then he tries to do a single spell, 1, single spell, 1. So each one of his guys totally flopped. And yeah, you don't see this very often. So overall, then it looks like this. You can see is one Pegasus person is coming up there. Did some shooting into my middle unit. Everything is fine. One of the things I'm kicking myself for is that when I originally envisioned this army, it was going to be having the Banner of Discipline to help me have Leadership 9 everywhere steadfast. But I forgot to put that in. So that was pretty stupid. I mean, obviously, take out 3 men-at-arms. There you go. So, stupid mistake on my part, but I'm holding so far. His magic was a flop. Shooting, he rolled, I think this is the turn he rolled a 1 to wound my trebuchet here, and yeah, I mean his cannons just did not do anything really this turn, so got pretty lucky there. Uh, his steam tank moving up, the rest of his stuff moving up kind of tentatively. He was actually kind of worried about my big blocks of 100, so I think he's hoping to grind me down a little bit first, and then we can kill off my trebuchets. So then on my turn here, I think the big thing we're trying to show here is these portals shooting stuff out. And most of the time it's just like silly things. Like right now there's wild form on the stank, and then the right one went and make it so that the griffin is like weapon skill 10. So yeah, I mean just crazy stuff will be happening every turn. And then when it came to my shooting, this was pretty good. The one shot went for the steam tank, wounded it, only did 2 wounds, but hey, that's something, right? Then the other one scattered off the steam tank, hit the griffin, killed the rider, and then did a wound to the griffin. So, I mean, I'd rather would have killed the griffin, but hey, it makes him a little bit less dangerous, and that's also his general, so that's going to, of course, affect his leadership as well. Otherwise, with my turn, I get re-rolls on the shooters. They kill the pistoliers just to make sure they won't be a hassle. And yeah, that's really pretty much my turn. I don't want to move up and engage because I'll just be making more room for his flyers to land. So we're pretty much sitting tight until he offers me something here to go after. On his turn, he charges the Pegasus into my trebuchet, and this was expected. Otherwise, the the Griffin tried doing a charge. It was actually just trying to do a terror bomb, but it fails and it's staying back here. And I believe the other thing we're trying to show here as well is that with the magic phase, yeah, it's like doing wild form onto a spearman. So thanks, guys. Although at one point here, it's also going to be doing like the rusting its armor, so they'll have no armor for the rest of the game. So that was nice. Over here, one trebuchet down, and he's facing the other one. And then in the center here, you had the steam tank that was just zipping up towards me. His cannons are just trying to kill off. I can't remember. He didn't really kill many guys this turn, but I think he's just trying to kill off night goblins, trying to kill off ranks and stuff. So that's mainly what he was going on here for. So I'm happy he's not trying to character snipe. And then his knights thought about charging in, but instead he just kind of went to the wall to get a little bit more protection. And then otherwise in his magic phase, he really didn't get too much off. I mean, he has, what is it? The flaming sword on the knights this turn, and I think there's something somewhere else, but nothing that really affected me. So on my turn then, I get off the comet, and I mean, I put it right here, and I can't wait for this comet to come down and do some damage and just waste away all these units. And I decide to charge in here into the steam tank, and that's because this is perfect. Because I charge in, he doesn't wound me, I win combat, and he's stubborn, or unbreakable rather. But hey, for my virtue, I've won my first round of combat. So, yay peasants, you can win combats when you're against something that can't attack. Otherwise, it looks like this. I didn't want to charge the knights this turn because I don't want to lose more guys. So I pretty much just moved in to trap them there. The archer stayed back and tried shooting some of the spearmen or the halberdiers from the bunker unit. Didn't really do too much there. But otherwise, yeah, this is just pretty much the line. I had shot with the trebuchet to try and do some real damage to the griffin, but it didn't really work. Didn't really do anything. However, I did shoot at the knights, and so far I've killed 2 of them with shooting thunderbolts at them. So his turn 3, he has his Pegasus come into my last trebuchet. And he also joins in with the big, huge spearmen in here. And I mean, that's going to hurt. They're going to be killing tons of my guys, but at least I should be steadfast for a while. But yeah, this is obviously my right flank can only hold out so long. And his knights also decide to charge in. He gets a little bit unlucky, and his priest trips on the wall on the way in. But this is something where I know I should win eventually. I just really got to grind these guys down. Otherwise, over here, a little fireball goes and kills 1 spearman. So, hey, there's a little bit of help. And at the end of the turn, it looks like this. So, trebuchet dead. Yeah, that's pretty much doing its thing there. The griffin moving its way around the flank just to be threatening. In the combat, he killed ton of my spearmen, but I'm steadfast. On the left side, failed to kill the priest, but hey, I killed like a good number of his knights, so that's awesome. Lost, but I'm steadfast as well. And here we go. Like, this is the grind. My turn 3, I charge in my spearman. He's going to be kicking my butt, but I just need like weight of attacks to be killing off his guys. So hopefully this will be enough. Otherwise, I get some more help because it decides to go and put Soul Blight or whatever on the spearman. So that's going to help kill a few guys off. And over here, I shoot some magic over with my guy with a Thunderbolt, and of course I get like an extra D6 Strength 4 hits as well from the lore attribute, and I'm able to kill the Pegasus Rider. So that's awesome because the way I was lined up here, the Knights were just there to kind of redirect, but the Pegasus could fly over and get to my bunker, and now it's dead, so that's not a worry anymore. Otherwise, my other magic was re-rolls on the men-at-arms on the right side. I keep wanting to call them halberdiers, but no, they're men-at-arms. But man, oh, I got my butt kicked. Because a big thing that's a difference here is I'm just weapon skill 2, right? I'm just peasants. So he's hitting me on 3s. He also had the flaming sword on here, so he's hitting on 2s. Or was it wounding? I think, no, it improves the wound. Whatever it is, he kills a ton of my guys. I do some back. I think I killed like 10 guys back, but still he wins. Double steadfast, so that's okay. And on the left side, failed to kill his priest as well. Still grinding around, still steadfast. His turn 4, he has a misfire here, loses a wound, but gains a steam point, so it's not so bad. And otherwise, he charges in the Griffin into the Knights. He charges in the Halberdiers into my Goblins here. And I mean, well, not Goblins, Men-at-Arms. And here I'm kind of worried because if he gets like really killy like he did last time, I mean, if this all breaks, my bunker has nowhere to go. So I'm really hoping I can hold out on this side. It also doesn't help that, hey, now he has Wild Form on his Spearman. So thanks, Magic Portal. After everything's done, though, I am actually able to hold out. He kills 1 knight. He wins by 1, and I hold with my knights, so that was nice. In the big combat there, you can see he killed a whole bunch of my guys, but I was able to kill the priest there, so there's some points. I was also able to kill the priest on the left side and another knight or so that's also great, but still, at least I'm still passing my Steadfast 8's rerollable. My turn 4, the mage moved up just to try and be a little bit more protective. Otherwise, magic phase, he pretty much just shot down, so that was nothing there. In combat, he did nothing to me. I did 1 to him, so I won by 2. Griffin broke, and that's great. I just reformed to be here fighting as well. In the main combat, I thought I was doing okay, killed more guys, I was looking kind of happy, but then all of a sudden my archers failed their steadfast 8, get run down, and then luckily nothing else panicked, and he overran into the mage. So that's actually not so bad. I mean, it just keeps it away from my bunker, because really, again, I don't care if I lose, I just got to keep my, my 2 paladins alive. So that's the main goal here. And on the left, yeah, still steadfast as well. Over here, my comet finally comes down. Now, I cast that comet a long time ago. It now has, it's 5 tokens, and yeah, it only goes out 5 inches and does nothing. So this massive comet just goes back there, and could have been some nice strength 9 hits on those knights, but that's what happens. Otherwise, over here, he actually forgot to reform last turn to get some ranks, so we just kind of like, oh yeah, go ahead, do it fast. Over here, he does Flame Cage to my knights, kills 1, passes my panic, but whatever. They're just here to kind of be in the way anyway. Otherwise, over here, I issue a challenge with my mage, and his mage refuses. And I really had to pick on him because, like, come on, man! Like, you got like this fire mage with this flaming sword. What a wimp! But yeah, he goes back, and I'm sure my mage is in trouble. But isn't this nice? Pretty much on the left side. Let's go from left to right. I kill more knights. He's still winning because he has 2 banners and like the war banner. So he's still holding and beating me, but I'm holding rather. In the inside, let's see. I killed 1 guy. He did 2 wounds to me. He has no banner because this is a detachment only 2 other ranks, so he only beats me by 4, and I hold. So haha, if you're going to refuse a challenge, my mage will hold you up by herself. So that was awesome. But with those extra ranks, he now beat my right men-at-arms and ran them down. So as you see here, my right flank is just crumbling away, but at least we're getting on in turns, and I should be able to hold out. So my turn, I think 5 now? I'm not sure. I charge in here into the detachment, just hoping to kick their butt and get some more points. And when everything's done, it basically looks like this. So beat them. Luckily, he actually did some attacks against my paladins, and I thought, like, man, maybe I shouldn't have done this. But went in there, beat them, broke them, wasn't able to run them down. The mage decided not to chase after. And in the other combat, I've killed everything but the BSB, but he holds. On his turn, I think this is now 6, his Griffin rallies, but at this point, it's just saving him points. Another blurry picture. He charges here into my knights. And he reforms with these guys as well. So saving some points, but hey, I can charge him again. So after everything's done, he beats my knights, runs off the board. Steam Tank tried to get to me, misfired again, but nothing bad. And tried to come over to me, didn't quite make it, so that's great. Beat the BSB again by a good margin, but he held, so just can't get those points. And then on my turn, this was awesome. I shot a Thunderbolt at the Griffin, killing it, so there's a ton of points. Because remember, I don't even get the rider until I kill both parts of the model. And of course, you can see here that my unit charged into the detachment to try and get all those points as well. But at the end of everything, I first do the banner combat. He doesn't break, so that's unfortunate. I do beat the detachment, was unable to kill the mage, and with the reroll, because that BSB didn't die, they held as well. So no points for over here. So at the very end of it, he was actually ahead by 300 points, so he got the win. But looking at the virtues here, yeah, here's my 2 guys. And I mean, for the empathy, I took more peasants than knights, so get that one. And my guy's still alive. And for the other one, virtue of duty, stayed with the general. General didn't die. Way to go, boys. So there you go, a fairly interesting game. For a while I thought it was going all right, but man, once my block started to break, I was starting to sweat it. I was getting pretty worried, but in the end, of course, I didn't win the game. He had about 300 more victory points than me when he added everything up, but hey, I was pretty damn close, but I didn't win the game. However, for the lore of empathy, I had more peasants than I had knights, and then I won a round of combat because beat up that steam tank. And then for the other one, I had the virtue of duty because I had my guy, he was with the general, and the general didn't die and he didn't die. So got 2 of the virtues. That was fantastic. It was actually neat playing this guy because at the beginning he was just one of my viewers. He's like, hey, I'm in Edmonton, want to have a game? And then we realized that like way back, like 10 years back when I was playing 40K in the shop, we were guys that would meet down the shop and play. He remembered some of my old crazy demon armies popping out and all this stuff. And so it was just cool to be touching base like this, playing this game. And yeah, definitely going to be trying to get more games with him in the future. But there you go, second game of the campaign, 2 more virtues for Malorian, and that puts me in the lead. So good news, and we'll catch you later. Bye.